So I'm not gonna lie, I love little Transformers Authentics figures. Not all of them are great, but some of them are actually pretty nice. This is the little Megatron, and I think it's pretty cool. I never got the larger scale one, and I've kind of been wanting to get that. I've kind of been wanting to get some more Transformers Authentics figures, because they're just kind of neat, I say as I pop his arm off. I've been looking for the Shockwave. I've not seen the Shockwave in stores. I did a video on the Wheeljack a while ago, and that was really impressive for what it was. So I went into a not really local to me, local to where I work. I went to a Dollar General hoping to find the authentic Shockwave, and I didn't. And I was thinking, well, maybe if they don't have that, I can at least get the big version of this Megatron. And if you're curious, let me go ahead and transform this one for you. So you can kind of see that it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple figure, like I say as I pop the same arm off. Maybe that's a different arm. I don't know. Either way, I'm just popping the arms off. Yeah, like you literally just fold in the legs, and the arms combine into the the gun. Like you can basically see that's going to be it. I'm not even going to worry about the rest. Oh my gosh. I swear I like this thing, even though the arms just do not stay on. It's cute. I was going to get the big one, but I didn't see that. But I saw something else. Something I've been curious about, because Authentics, I guess, is going through a different phase, because now there is a new Megatron, and there's also new versions of some of the other characters. And I'm kind of curious how this is going to be different from the other Megatron. It looks pretty good, looks pretty articulated and everything. The tank mode looks vastly superior, because you kind of saw the tank mode on this is literally just the arms are the front, are the top, and it's just so not worth it. I didn't feel like wrestling with these really stiff ball joints. You hear that? How stiff that is? Like, it's just so stiff, and then the hands are just poking out. It's not a good tank mode. But it's a nice little figure. It's a nice little robot. You know, a lot of nice ball joints and everything. And I don't know if I'm going to get the big one, because this might actually kind of fill the void. We can see all the steps to transform it are back here. I'm going to try to not reference those, as I always do. But the tank looks good, dude. It's got like a missile rack on the side, big old turret, and the bot mode actually looks pretty neat. I mean, you can see it in the front. That's a pretty neat looking bot mode. I'm curious how his shoulders are going to look, because it seems like he's going to have some big old shoulder pads. Maybe once this guy gets a little bit more posed up, he might look a little better. But seriously, from what I gathered in the box, I'm like, yeah, the articulation seems pretty neat. I wanted to check this out, and I figured, hey, if I'm going to check it out, I might as well check it out in a video, because that's what I kind of do. I kind of make videos on the toys that I buy. So let's open this up. Oh my goodness. Did you really have to tape that too? Do we really have to do that as well? That's a little excessive. Just a wee bit excessive, if you ask me. Just a wee bit, but that's okay. We got there. All right. Is he tied in? Of course he is. Just one, though. Just one. Whoop. Got it. And then his fusion cannon. All right. So my first impression is that he got some legs. He got some legs, man. He definitely got some legs. Those are huge. He's got articulation in him. Like, he's got a knee joint and hips, but his legs are just huge. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. Definitely interesting. Definitely a lot of moving parts I'm noticing. That's not straight. That should be more straight. Alright, let me get all this junk out of the way and reposition the camera. And we'll get a different look at this guy. Alright, so Megatron here is standing up, and it's interesting. It feels interesting, that's for sure. There's definitely a lot of moving parts, and I think my main problem is that none of it seems to actually tab in. There's this back thing that's not tabbing in. These massive things on ball joints on his legs that have nowhere to tab in. These things on the side that don't tab in. These things on the side that I guess it makes sense that they rotate. But those aren't tabbed in. Yeah, just a lot of stuff that isn't tabbed in. And a lot of unorthodox articulation, shall we say. But yeah, it's a pretty decent size. I'd say it's the size of like a modern leader class. Size-wise, it's pretty big. He has like this permanent A stance in his feet, and as you can see, one knee like, both of these legs are kind of bow-legged. Like, he's a pretty bow-legged looking guy. One of them will straighten. The other one will not. This will not straighten. Because I'm going to assume that the legs are supposed to, like, go on this hinge for the transformation. But one of them does not straighten. And because it's not straightening, every time I try to bend the knee, it kind of collides with this part, and it just makes a mess. But at least it has knee articulation. And he's got very awkward ball joints at the hips. Oh, man, this is interesting. I feel like it definitely looked a little bit better on the box than what I have here in my hands. It just feels weird, man. This feels funky. This kind of feels like a knockoff. It just kind of does. I mean, I know Authentics are supposed to be very inexpensive. Like, they're supposed to be the budget line. This is, you know, this figure's only $10. This is the price of a core class. And I can say it has the articulation of a core class, but it is significantly bigger. I mean, bringing in the tiny Megatron, this original Authentics one, you can see, yeah, it's definitely pretty big. I really like the color on it, though. This dark gray plastic actually looks really sick. I kind of like the big shoulder pads. I think those look kind of neat. I kind of dig that. And it seems like they kind of go into the shoulder, too, so it doesn't get in the way too much. You can move it out a little bit. Oh, he's got slidey shoulders. Okay. He's got some paint. He's got a little bit of paint. He's got some black on the legs, some red for these little missile pods. He's got some black and red on his tummy, Decepticon symbol. And his face looks neat. He's got a good head sculpt. Like, that's Megatron, for sure. That is definitely the evil leader of the Decepticons! Ah! This thing's cool. It also has some silver paint, too, for the thighs. Looks like for the biceps. Yeah, some very subtle little silver they added. So I'd say paint-wise, this is pretty good. I mean, especially comparing to this little guy. He didn't have a lot of paint on him. This one definitely has a lot of paint. So to more clearly and concisely go over the articulation, he has a ball joint at the head, which gets a pretty good amount. He has ball joints at the shoulders. They can rotate, do all that stuff. They move out just a little bit. He doesn't have any, like, bicep swivel, but he does have a hinge at the elbow, so you can bend the elbow. He has ball joints at the wrist. That's actually pretty good. So you can make him look like, Megatron! Decepticons, rise up! This thing's cool, dude. I like this. It's not perfect, but I definitely like it. The ball joints at the hips. And then he's got these... I think it's easier to demonstrate with this leg. He's got like a hinge for the knee right there, but I think that also doubles as a transformation joint. Unfortunately, nothing at these tiny little feet. And they're in this really bad little A stance sculpt. So if you want him standing more straight, it's just, you know, it's kind of going to happen, but not really. Man, I really wish this other leg would straighten. It just looks so odd how it's bow-legged. Maybe if I have him posed with his leg bent a little bit more, it won't look so bad. Yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay. Not the best, but okay. Yeah, it's Megatron! This is definitely neat. Feels very lightweight. You can see there's not a lot of hollow bits. A lot of the stuff is covered up decently well. Obviously the arms are pretty hollow, but like especially the legs. There's like these big old panels. Yeah, this thing's neat. It's definitely neat. Alright, I think I've talked about the robot quite enough. Let us get this guy transformed. So the fists, I'm going to assume, are going to flip in. Whoa, I'm a wizard. How did I figure that out? That's insane. And then it seems like that's kind of going to collapse right there. Does this, like, cover the head, maybe? What's that about? We'll find out. We'll find out. All right, the legs. So I'm going to assume all of this assembly kind of does a... Oh, my goodness. What am I doing? Does the torso do anything? Or maybe these arms. Maybe they go like this. Maybe I have them facing the wrong way. Maybe. Probably not. I probably just have no idea what I'm doing, let's be honest. Because, again, I'm not looking at the instructions. No, nuh-uh. I'm a man. I know how to transform my robots. Alright, so the feet flip in. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Does this panel, like, move forward to, like, connect everything? I guess it moves forward no matter what. Kind of adds some armor. And it seems like these leg panels that are around the side is going to become the turret. Wow, that was a click. That was definitely a click. I didn't like how that sounded. All right. Foot in. Legs collapsed, question mark. Are we going to collapse? Yeah, there we go. God, that click again. Yikers. Okay. Progress is being made. Seems like a pretty nice transformation. Like, stuff actually happens here. This is actually a tank. Wow. Not bad, Authentics. Not bad. I just feel like we're missing something here to make it look more uniform. Obviously, let's get this rotated. Like, does the arm not connect to that? Okay, I see a slot right there. So the leg needs to slot in. Right in there. Come on. Do you see that slot right there? Trying to get the leg to connect to that slot. I see the gap. That's where it's supposed to go. Alright, so it took a bit of finessing because I really feel like this figure is really missing extra tabs. But I think I got it all tabbed together. Take the fusion cannon, turn it into the turret. I literally just squished it all out of place. Love that for me. Oh, come on. Yeah, these legs, there's not enough tab. They need to just tab in better. Okay, I fixed it. Here is the tank mode for our new Authentics Megatron. And I'm not going to lie, this tank mode is actually, unironically, one of the best tank modes I have seen for Megatron in modern times. This alt mode looks sick. Look at all these armor plates. Look at the sculpting. I love this little front part right here. The turret looks really cool. The fusion cannon looks nice. This tank kicks ass, dude. Look at that. It doesn't have any wheels, so it's not going to roll. And again, it is pretty much held together with a whim and a prayer. It is not held together very well. For whatever reason, this figure just doesn't have the tabs, man. It doesn't have the connections. And it just makes it pretty unstable in the alt mode and in the robot mode, honestly. But other than that, as you can see, I can't keep this together anymore. Other than lack of tabs, on paper, this figure's really nice. In practice, there needs to be way more tabs and slots on this thing because it's just not holding together well enough. But as you can see, this is a nice tank. Definitely a step up from the turret just being the arms, you know, that this one had. Definitely a step up. Let's get it back in the robot mode. I want to see that robot mode one more time before we finish off this video. So what do I think about this guy? Do I recommend him? I think it's one of the bigger questions. I mean, if you're a collector with lots of figures and you've already got your ideal Megatron, you do not need this whatsoever. But if you're like me and you like seeing the other sides of the collecting spectrum, the other sides of what Hasbro does with the brand, then yeah, I would say check it out. Oh wait, did I figure out the leg? Yes, I did. It was hinged the wrong way, that's why it wasn't going straight. Awesome, figured it out. Right at the end, I figured it out. So now people that didn't watch the end of the video are going to be like, oh, actually, the reason why the leg isn't straight. It's just how they assembled it, not my fault. Definitely not my fault. Alright, so now his legs actually don't look disgusting. We can take the arms, rotate those around, get the hands flipped out. Seeing the hands flip out of the tank tread like that gives me Titanium Megatron PTSD. That's okay. Alright, here he is back in his robot mode. Pretty, for the most part, competent little Megatron. He's got a few little issues. Again, he definitely is suffering from a lack of tabs. He needs way more tabs in his life. But other than that, the sculpt is good. Articulation is decent. If this seems like the kind of little Transformers novelty or oddity that you need in your life, if you're still hot off of Transformers 1 and you are obsessing over D16 and Megatron like I still am, then yeah, this is a nice little Megatron to fill that void because we don't have enough D16 toys yet. This is really cool. I really recommend it if it's something you're into. If you're looking for like your one perfect Megatron, I don't know, get a Siege version. There's a million different versions of that toy. That one's not bad. We still haven't had the definitive Megatron, in my opinion. I still, like, I look at my Megatron shelf, and I don't see a single one where I'm like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. I don't see that yet. I definitely don't. Galvatron, yes. We have the Legacy Kingdom, soon to be Studio Series mold. That's a perfect Galvatron. But for G1 Megatron, we're still struggling. Hopefully 86 can deliver us a really solid Megs. But for now, we can just have little oddities like this. I'm really curious about how the rest of these figures turned out. Maybe if they're as good as this Megatron, I might pick up some more. But if not, then I absolutely won't. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching again. Special shout out to channel members. As always, thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.